I mentioned your video to him, and 1 day later he uploaded this. Oh, nice. Well, let's see if he shits on me. He may shit on me. He may shit on me. Let's see where this goes. I can already see this chat. Guild Wars 1 is better than Guild Wars 2. These fucking elitists. These fucking elitists. Yeah, you know what? I can't even be mad at that. I can't even be mad at that. Right? Everyone has their special spice of what they particularly like and enjoy. And with the piles of dog shit that have been coming out in the MMO space, everyone who tells me that an old MMORPG or something similar like Guild Wars 1 is good, I can't be mad at them. And yes, I agree, Faith. Guild Wars 1 is better in a few ways than Guild Wars 2. But I think it's more accurate to say that Guild Wars 1 is just different. It's different, right? Think of Guild Wars 2 as the girl with a fat pair of tits, right? At first, you don't know what to do because you know the nipples aren't pointing in the right direction. It's a bit lost. The finale's never that great. But it's still fantastic. Guild Wars 1 is a girl with a fat ass. The perfect shape. She doesn't have it going on all upstairs. She's outdated. But she still knows how to throw it back. And yes, I actually did go live, Filter. What's up? Guild Wars 1 is better because I can run it on my potato. Next year. So I thought about this. I need to come up with a plan for all the things I'm doing next year. I think I'm going to be making a video of Guild Wars 1. I'm going to be streaming Guild Wars 1. I'm going to be streaming Expedition 33. I've got to play Dispatch. I've got to keep on going through Guild Wars 2 and getting through all the expansions. I'd love to get to a point where I actually know what the fuck I'm doing in the game. I'm having a great time being a dumbass, but at some point I've got to skill up and actually figure out what's going on. I ended up doing the dishes because my wife is mega pregnant and always sleeping. Do you want to know a life hack, Adax? Do you want to know a life hack for dealing with pregnant women? Unironically, fried chicken with a little bit of spice. It is like crack to them. If she gets mad at you for some stupid shit, fried chicken. They fucking love fried chicken. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about fried women and fried chicken. I mean, pregnant women and fried chicken, but they love that shit so much. And pickles. Yes, and pickles.
This is a flashbang.
Preferably, your... Oh, I didn't... Oh, fuck. I didn't hear that alert. Oh, fuck me. Jesus Christ. You fuckers are gonna keep doing that. You bastards. Fine, it's Christmas. You get away with it today. Jumping in Guild Wars 1 streaming is probably the best done sooner rather than later, while the Reforged update still has player counts high. Faith, I'll tell you why that's a short-term strategy. I've noticed something about streaming that not a lot of people... Fried woman and pregnant chicken, that works too. I had a talk with an engineering buddy the other day. That just reminded me. We were sitting down and he was like, you know, I like my woman like I like my coffee. And I turned to him and I was like, black? And he was like, no. Ground up and put in the freezer. No. I'll tell you why it's a short-term strategy to kind of hop on trends like that, is if you are not a big streamer, it's going to be, generally speaking, non-beneficial. The only time that kind of shit actually works is if you found a game that you actually really, really enjoy and that you're going to play once the hype dies down, right? Because if it's a game you're hopping on for a trend as opposed to something you enjoy, people pick up on that shit real fast. Some of the worst streams I did last year was probably the second Senua's Sacrifice game. Because I think instantaneously people could tell that I was getting bored out of my fucking mind with that game, because it was just a movie where you walk around and solve a few puzzles. Right? So if you're not enjoying it, people pick up on that. People are not fucking stupid. And so I think the whole idea of hopping on trends only really works if you've already got an established community of people, or like you're a huge streamer and this is your job, and or you've been paid a lot of money by the company to play that fucking game, because then, fuck yeah. And by the way, that reminds me. Spanish man contacted me. So before... You know what? We'll do it on another stream. There's a Spanish man who contacted me about a video game. And it actually looks good. It actually looks good. So we're going to give that a try next year. We'll see if his indie game is any good. And if it's not, I'll just stop playing it.
This video was recommended to me by a viewer. It seems really interesting.
Yeah,
it's called Why Does Everyone Simp for Guild Wars 2? Now, this is from 2 years ago, but I guess it doesn't really matter. So let's see how it holds.
The game in question is called Blightstone. I like the art style of it from what I've seen.
I would absolutely, any day, tell people to go
Josh Strife, hey!
Guild Wars 2, in my opinion, still does the best job of delivering story when it comes to MMORPGs.
True. Oh wait, I saw that. I saw that.
This MMO is definitely worth the money.
Narc.
Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars.
I miss Narc's old channel. I'll be honest, I miss Narc's old channel. I need to catch up on his new stuff.
Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars 2.
That's crazy. Guys, do you remember Narc? Isn't it ironic that when the moment we need him the most, he just vanished? Like, this is the...
Like the fucking Avatar, and he shall return to us. This bald man needs an arrow on... you know what? He could pull it off. Narc could pull it off. If he shows up one day, he makes the Narc... he brings the Narc channel back, and he just comes back with the blue arrow on his head, and he just looks at Ashes of Creation and the nightmare it's become, and he's like, I was right all along. Man, that would be so fucking peak. I would love that shit so much.
Perfect time to prove he was right all along, and he's not here. That is such a damn shame.
Based. I really like this guy. Based opinions. Based. I like this guy already. Change your name to Based Apple.
Right now, when we see Ashes of Creation just completely scamming everyone...
What's Narc's new channel? It's this one right here. This one right here. And you know what? He's still throwing out bangers. He's still throwing out bangers. But I need him to come back as Narc. I need him to come back as Narc and look at the dumpster fire that is Ashes, and then just take a fat shit on Pirate Software, take a fat shit on Steven Sheriff, and just sit there and gloat like a motherfucker. I need that so badly in my life.
This guy was right all along. It's crazy.
Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars 2.
Hey!
Oh, really? We'll see about that.
God, I still had some hair back then. It's so bad.
Guild Wars 2, a game
I should have already shaved my head by then.
I've never touched before, despite it being 11 years old. And not touching 11-year-olds is really strange behavior for a YouTuber in 2023. Now, what?
Also in 2025.
Once upon a time, I
Much more in 2025.
did
Much
play
has
a
changed.
dervish in a completely unrelated game with certainly no lore or story significance to this one called Guild Wars. But that was way back when we could call a Hurricane Katrina and no one wanted to have sex with it. 2005.
The good old days.
The good old days. But we're not here to reminisce over an age when the timeline wasn't irreversibly shattered by turning
I like this man. He can predict my jokes. He knows what's coming.
a gorilla into Swiss cheese, all
man,
because a
Harambe.
child wanted free water skiing lessons. See, I'm here to
damn.
entertain you, and you're here to get the
pain.
Wish.com version of brain damage. And maybe if we're both lucky, I'll be able to offer to you an opposing viewpoint to all those boomers who keep sucking themselves off over how good Guild Wars 2 is. So let's waste no more words and see how disappointing Guild Wars 2 is about to be.
Okay, that's crazy. Already thank you so much for the guy who recommended me this video. This is great. I did not expect the Guild Wars 2 community to have like a meme lord. This is fantastic.
I've got to get back to making videos. I've got to get back to making fucking videos. Jesus Christ, I miss it so much. I miss streaming consistently. I miss making videos. I'm be honest with you about something I've been thinking about for the last few months. And this would be the dumbest fucking decision of my life. But I've genuinely been thinking about quitting my job and just going all in on videos. My job is... I love my job. I love doing my job. I enjoy it so fucking much. But it takes up so much of my time and takes away from other things I want to do. And it's the stupidest fucking decision to ever lose a job. I'm not going to do it. I'm very likely not going to do it. My boss is awesome. I love working with the people that I work with. They're cool people. They listen. They fuck up sometimes, but who doesn't? But I've got this urge, this inkling in the back of my head that I really, really thought about quitting my job. It's just, it keeps coming back to me. And just going all in on content. It's the dumbest fucking idea in the world. But maybe it would be so stupid. Way too unreliable. I agree. Do not do it. I agree. I've got too much to pay for. I've got a kid to take care of who's going to school next year. Can't do it. But I still think about it.
I did not expect that at all.
Let's start off simple.
I guess every
and pick
community
that
has
one
one.
objectively superior character race. And we might as well pick our class or profession too while we're at it. Right off the bat, Guild Wars 2 gets pretentious on us. Ooh, I'm so fancy because I've got an animal race that doesn't look like each and every other furry race out there. I get the impression that when
Crazy,
first
huh?
creating the char in Guild Wars 1,
Hey, well, I guess World of Warcraft does have that too, right? I mean, Taurens are kind of cool. I always...
They put fucking tits on every furry in that game. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that shit. No, they don't. They just fucking... Everything is way too humanoid in World of Warcraft. Let's be honest here.
thought Taurens were cool. Like, I don't know about you guys. Maybe you think otherwise. But nah, I think they're pretty dope.
someone on the design team one day looked over at their house cat
My CEO... Hold on, my CEO says he does not want to adopt AI. That's because your CEO has probably got more... He's got 2 more brain cells than other CEOs who don't actually understand how their fucking job works at the moment. AI is too young and doesn't know how to function quite yet. At some point, it'll be good enough to switch, but not right now.
and realized that it doesn't in fact have a gigantic pair of unwieldy bolt-on tits, thus dooming the Guild Wars 2 team to keep the design for the sake of continuity and banishing the furry menace back into other unnamed games out there. And yeah, that's great, but so what? I can name
Do it.
two other MMOs out there that don't have furries in them.
Say
I
the
think.
name.
I mean, just look at this game. It's already
What were those 2? It was New World. And it was RuneScape. That's what it was.
acting like it's better than everyone else out there. Next, you're gonna tell me that the people who play this game shower regularly. Look, let's get down to brass tacks. I'm
That's
here to
taking it
have a
too
bad
far.
time and dunk on all those Guild Wars 2 simps, okay? Not many, but the most hardcore of MMO players will realize this. But there's a delicate balance of
Dude, that's like the average WoW Mythic Raider.
He's 100% correct. Before Mythic was even a thing, WoW players were losing their shit and breaking their setup. I've talked about this before. I used to be part of a guild. I mean, yeah, a guild basically in World of Warcraft, where I was underage and I wasn't supposed to be in that guild. And so I used to like make excuses like, nah, my mic's broken or I can't afford one or whatever the fuck. We had a raid leader. The guy who was in charge of it was a retired US Marine who moved to the UK. And he was fucking incredible. He had like the perfect tactics for everything. Like he was literally applying military doctrine to the way we were doing things. And it was so good. And every now and then he was like, guys, I'm going to leave the second in command in charge of these raids. Because I've got shit to do today. I've got other stuff I got to do. I'm pretty sure he didn't. I'm pretty sure he was just having like a PTSD episode because he had a few breakdowns, but he was a cool guy. The second in command was such a fucking dipshit. Every fucking raid, he never knew what the fuck was going on. He was screaming at everyone, and every time, like, the guy had a stack of keyboards in the back of his fucking house. And every now and then his character we'd hear it through the mic. He'd smash his keyboard. His character would stay still for about a minute or two. And then he would come back. Because he had to attach a new fucking keyboard to his system. He wasn't even a streamer. He was just mad at everything that went wrong. And he sucked ass at leading raids. It was the entertainment value was fantastic for the raid because we would eventually figure out that we could rage bait him into anything, right? We would start being complete fucking retards in every raid imaginable, just because we were like, okay, who's gonna make him smash his keyboard first today? And like every raid he was in charge of, he went through a bare minimum of 3 keyboards. It was great.
Salted misery to be maintained within this genre. And if we're gonna figure out how to be miserable, there's only really one place to start this journey. Reddit. And within this cesspool of circle-jerking mod incels, we got no help.
Hold on. I used to run a hardcore raiding guild, and we were trying to push ICC 10. Or was it 25? It could have been, I think it was probably 25. We had one hunter who was constantly underperforming. We gave him a bunch of opportunities to improve some. How do you underperform as a hunter? It's the easiest fucking class to play. I know, because it's the first class I ever leveled to max level. It's like one of the 2 classes that I played before dropping it in Wrath of the Lich King. Hunter was the most basic, simple fucking class to play. And if you were retarded, all you did was play Beastmaster, and you fucking hit your enrages and your bites, and you were good. You were good. That's all you had to do, was control the fucking pet. And you were good. I think that's why they got the label of Huntard, actually, in WoW. Is because if you couldn't figure out the basics of a fucking hunter, you had to be borderline retarded. You had to have, like, chromosomal issues to be bad at that class. I would regularly top DPS charts as a hunter, not because I was good, but just because the entire point of a hunter was all you have to do to be good is not fuck up. That's it. Also, back in the day, people didn't realize this yet, but survival was the underrated class in PvP because that wyvern sting was so brutal. We gave him a bunch of opportunities to improve while simultaneously trying to recruit a replacement hunter, and we found him. We went on an alt run with the guy to see how well he performed, and he did twice the DPS as the current hunter. It's simple. It's simple as a hunter. The entire point of a hunter was do not fuck up. That's all you had to do to get it right. I then let the kid know that we're replacing him on the main group with this guy, and I didn't hear back from him in the chat. It was weird. 2 weeks later, he got back and found out that during the chat, he jumped out the 2nd story window and tried to kill himself. Okay. I'm willing to bet he threw himself out of that window, not because of the fucking game. I think the game was kind of like, it was the spark that lit the gasoline fire there. That guy had something else going on in his life. It was fucking him up. I've never met someone who's done that to himself that there wasn't a lot more going on in their life. But also, you gotta be fucking retarded if you can't play Hunter. Jesus Christ.
Surprise. But I did stumble across this useful little link right.
Oh man, that's Filthy Frank in the background. Man, I miss Joji so damn much.
I miss him as well.
It's crazy, man. I'm getting so much nostalgia.
I miss Joji so much. A hidden little meme in every single one of my videos that I did on my main channel that I'm gonna bring back when I start doing videos next year again. There is always a Joji reference somewhere. Always.
Nostalgia from this video, and it's not even from that long ago.
Here. And a little later, upon returning to my post, we found a surprising number of people.
Like, old YouTube used to be so good, man. I mean, now it's just filled with brain rot and all that stuff.
Yep.
Ah, man, I'm so tired. I just miss old YouTube. You know what? I'm old. What can you do, guys? It is what it is.
People with a brain who typed something worth reading. These posts right here have me pretty concerned, actually. You see, they may not look like much, but this kind of positive behavior is disruptive to the natural ecosystem of MMO-related Reddit. But moving on to that link I found. We've got two choices here. We can pick our character through player choice or by player time. Playtime probably means that people are having a worse experience with the game.
That's interesting. Wait, you actually have stats for this?
Yep.
Oh, this is actually
Can you
quite
believe
interesting.
it? I know, it's fucking astounding. People give a shit about the game. It's insane. They build shit around Guild Wars 2 that is fucking ridiculous that WoW players would beg for back in the day. Man, Guild Wars 2 is still such an underrated game. Nike Forest getting downvoted even back then. Yep. Non-stop. Looking back, the dude was heavily autistic and used our raid as some sort of social anchor to normalcy. I think he was 15 to 17 years old. I ended up talking to him for a while. But then I quit. He was doing better and found therapy and some other stuff. Therapy would probably make him worse, if I'm being honest. I've tried the whole therapy thing and it never works. I tried to do the therapy thing after my mom killed herself, and it was just the worst idea ever. Therapists will give you stupid fucking advice. Like, when you're going through trauma, what I want you to do is I want you to write down your trauma in a book every single day and think about that moment of tragedy every single day of your life. That way, you will keep reliving that trauma and keep going through it over and over again. That way I can make sure that I become a subscription service for solving your problems, and you'll keep paying me money. Fuck therapists. Doesn't work for guys. There's no, I'm sorry, but for guys, there's no talking out your problems. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't work. He'd constantly be doing weird shit that would rub us wrong, like mid-fight, you'd see him crafting more arrows. He'd try and max out haste to get the lowest possible attack speed. Shit was weird. Yeah, that's real fucking odd, man.
See, all of them are pretty even. There's not too much disparity as far as it seems. So that's very interesting.
Than just not liking the way something looks. So let's go with that. So now in no uncertain terms, we know we'll be playing the
Revenant
cat wizard that escaped the Harry Potter race war. So on to the
that was a
character
good game.
creator.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Let's see. Mesmer.
Hogwarts Legacy was mid. That's the first bad opinion he's had.
I love that
Illusions, finesse, misdirection. All the appropriate skills to craft the perfect YouTube apology after entering a Japanese forest.
And then guess what I did? I crafted the perfect YouTube apology with my PvP video.
While we
almost
design
like I
Simba's
planned these
disabled
things.
little
Forest
brother,
suit.
you may notice some real chunky polygons sticking out here and there. But a fair portion of this is covered up decently by the amount of options and sliders we've got available. And on top of those sliders, we've got some presets. We
Yes,
can
I
even
am watching
change the
someone watching
background.
me. It's been a while since I've done one of these late night. Plus, I want to see what his opinion is. This is actually very valuable to me. It's always good to see what other people's opinions on my videos are, because then I can figure out what's good, what people disagree with. I can see if I disagree with them. And I think this is going to be very important, because I'm going to be trying to do a lot more videos next year, as opposed to being a lazy fuck and getting bogged down and doing one video and going overboard with it and scope creeping it to death and then losing it because the fucking hard drive I had just collapses on me. I had a therapist for a while, and she was able to help me put to words what I was feeling. Like, I couldn't quite put to words what was bugging me. She just said shit in one session that made it all click, and then that was the last time I saw her. That's a good therapist. Also probably a poor therapist, because they didn't do their job properly. Their job is to keep you coming back.
Lighting in case God didn't like you having a working pair of eyes. And there's even a slider so we can decide if we're going to be short or recognized as a person by society at large. All of this is shockingly well put together, but this isn't gameplay, so let's speedrun this a bit. Alright. There we go. Completely indistinguishable from your average char. Now then, let's get in game. What?
Come on,
Lol.
man.
Backstory.
My wife still uses those headphones, by the way. She says they're so fucking comfortable.
What the fuck is all this? Hold on. Now this is pure speculation on my
Immersion.
part.
What?
But I get the feeling that trying to turn our
MMORPG?
character
Yeah, can you
into a
believe it?
person. I thought I was supposed to be playing main character generic hero man number
Absolutely.
6,000,000,001. Alright,
To be fair, you kind of do that too with Guild Wars 2.
You do. He's right. He's right, but I hadn't gotten that far into the game. This was my first impression of everything.
You know, I have to say it, right? You're kind of the hero, and technically you are writing your own story, but come on, guys. I've
right.
done enough of the story by this point to pretty much assess where this one's going.
fine.
Yeah, it really fucking pissed me off that they put all these choices in the character select, and then none of them fucking matter by the time you hit level 40. Man, that pissed me off so much. Because it was such a good idea, and then they just fucking threw it out the window. I hated that.
I'll admit, the character creator is good
On my old character, by the way, which was like a Norn warrior, not on the new one, obviously. I'm still in the beginning,
Jesus
pretty much.
Christ.
enough that it's got me wondering why this isn't industry standard for every other MMO out there. God, and this game is a
Because other MMO sucks.
I literally don't care about the game at end. It's bad already. Look at my head. I'm built like a fucking alien. Right, I already know my head's fucked. I couldn't give a shit. I already know I look like shit. Look, if you're making YouTube videos, you can't have shame. You can't have any form of dignity.
balls, and everything just sucks. Nobody's willing to put an effort anymore, and everyone is just cringe. Yes, this is today MMO sphere.
Yes.
Enjoy.
He's
To
right.
be honest, this was made 2 years ago, so he probably doesn't even know about Ashes of Creation, because apparently this guy has stopped uploading videos.
Oh, I know about Ashes of Creation. Don't you worry about that, buddy. I know all about Ashes of Creation. I just stopped uploading videos because I scope creeped the shit out of that Dune video I was doing.
Which
We'll be back
actually
next
makes
year,
me
don't
quite
you worry.
sad now that I've been like 5 minutes into his video. Yeah, that's pretty shameful. I mean, I really wish this guy would make some more content.
Don't you worry, buddy.
Video seems fire.
I'm coming back next year. I'm not going to scope creep my shit. I'm going to plan it out the old school way like I used to, and we're going to go back to this.
Years old and we still haven't evolved? You know what? Don't worry about it. I'm sure with my choice of the least played race profession combo that we're about to have a bad time in the starting area. So welcome to Smokestead. Turns out that the cat kind
Wait, isn't it new? Isn't this the newest class?
Nope.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Nope, that's the Sylvari.
Because I remember Revenant to be added into the game. People have
Merry
told
Christmas,
me that.
Nodush.
Chimera people beat the
might be wrong,
snot
though.
out of the previous owners of this land so bad that they all became eternally butt-mad blue checkmark Twitter ghosts. Jesus, and this is the least played starting area. Now, before we continue with our journey, I feel it's important for me to give you some backstory of this game before things get confusing. The premise of Guild Wars 2 is that we're playing as a cat monkey man in a game developed by the children of Satan, who in unison with a group of money-hungry lizard men published this game, proving that sometimes math isn't bullshit and two negatives can sometimes produce something positive. This game is all about adventuring your way through a single-player game with other people that bother you every now and then. In the world of Tyra...
Gotcha. What a name you looked at.
I still can't believe I just found that guy. He just randomly ran past me, and I'm like, you're in the video now.
way through a single-player game with other people that bother you.
Dude, that is such a fantastic name. I wish
is.
I took it upon myself.
Where do you think I got the idea for my fucking Sylvari name? You gotta steal everything. There is no dignity here. Imagine expecting unique creativity on YouTube in 2025,
it's so
in 2023.
good. I've seen some people with some really good names out there for sure.
Every now and then. In the world of Tyra Banks, who's got a pretty severe collection of bad dragons laying around. Strange occurrences happen in this MMO that don't happen in others. Like your backstory choices having mild consequences as opposed to none at all, and your character developing somewhat of a personality. In the long run of the Guild Wars 2 story, we're here to inflict unwanted diversity upon the world like our name is Netflix, and transport some uppity gecko with a bad habit of organizing a domestic terrorism or two into the afterlife.
Right?
And
I still get mad. I still get mad. You know that 2 days ago, I was laying in bed and I couldn't sleep, and I was staring at the ceiling. And I worked myself up into such a rage over the Zaitan fight that I fucking sat there. I had to get up and walk around my house. I was so exhausted the next day, but I was still so fucking mad about it.
I'm gonna stop there because this is a
might be
first
wrong about
impression
this.
and that's just the base game. And if you want the rest of the story, you might as well go get a PhD in quantum theoretical fucking physics because that would be far more straightforward than understanding anything beyond each expansion featuring some version of Big Lizard Mad Now. Except for Living World 3, where
Yeah, I did notice that. Like, they have a thing with dragons, right? I mean, there's
That's the whole point. That's the whole theme of it. And I'm so glad in Living World Season 3 they focused on Balthazar. It was such a good change.
so, like, ubiquitous, right? You can find them everywhere.
Thanks, Virgin
It's kind of
Shade.
crazy. They do
I
love
appreciate
their
it.
dragons, for sure. But you know what? I'm all here for it.
one of the human gods becomes
You know why the dragons work in Guild Wars 2? It's because every single one of them looks so goddamn awesome. And that's why Zaitan's so upsetting to me. How do you make a dragon that fucking cool and then fuck up the fight? I don't know. I still don't. I'm gonna stop. Otherwise, I'm gonna be yelling for another 4 hours about this.
the living embodiment of China and decides that everything is edible through his personalized Slurpee straw. But none of that really matters right now because I'm a giant bipedal cat magician surrounded by unarmed but suspiciously blue protesters in need of some excessive force. So after proving to our superiors that no one is above the law except us, we even get some ringside seats to desecrating the graves of the indigenous.
Apparently, Mordramoth wasn't planned as a dragon. Was added later. That would explain the testicle fight that you have at the end. But I think the meta event where you actually fight the Schlong dragon was a really good addition. So if that was like a last minute addition, good change. Really, really good change.
In particular, one of their leaders who really wanted to be a Power Ranger before he died and revived himself into an oversized Funko Pop. Now, looking at this world lore-wise, everything
that's
tends to
cool.
fit together
Wait,
very
what?
neatly. We've been told from the start that the
Yeah,
Char...
that's the starter area, and it was so good. I've thought about this. Okay, fuck the Asura, first of all. But every starter area has such a good build-up, and then it just drops off a cliff. And it's so upsetting. The most acceptable starting area to me is the Norn starting area, because it's like a coming of age story where you're doing little things like helping out a hunter, killing these deer, getting rid of the bears, and then your coming of age is you fight a fucking ice schlong, and then you move out into the world. That makes so much more sense to me than most of the starting areas, where you have this amazing starter, and then you just do nothing. You just become no one. That's so dumb.
Brutal and warlike, and we, as a character in this game, get to be a part of that tradition. There's only really one problem. I, as a player in this game, don't really take any of these schizophrenic apparitions seriously at all. I mean,
Hold
look,
on. That's cap because there's there's lore in a core map about Mordramoth. Wait, so Mordramoth was planned. It wasn't a last minute addition then.
look at this. This guy's been beating me up for the last half an hour, and my health bar's barely moved. At no point in this game so far am I in any serious danger, and I'm not really being forced to learn how vital any of my specific abilities are. But
That is actually true. This is so facts. I mean, you don't have any real danger in Guild Wars.
He knows. He knows. He got the same feeling. He's probably played WoW Classic, if not WoW Vanilla. He knows, because when you're playing WoW Classic, you pull 2 mobs and you shit yourself if you're in the wrong spot or you don't have enough health.
You don't really die, at least when you start, right? I guess when you reach the difficult content.
Why is that a bad thing? Because it gives you no reason to continue playing, Cyro. It gives you no reason to feel that there's a challenge to the game, right? There feels like there's more challenge when you get to Heart of Thorns. There feels like there's a little bit more challenge when you get to Path of Fire. But if you look at the average person, think about it this way. I couch my videos in the way of what would a new player, a person who's never played this game before, think about this experience if they were going through, right? If a new player went through this game, and this is exactly what happened to Sawman, is he felt like the entire game was meaningless when he played the core gameplay experience, because he was like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing here? Put a mustache on. Yeah, well, it's the statue of Stalin that we had to defeat.
And like the end game stuff, like the true end game stuff, yeah, stuff do get hectic, but as you begin the game, nothing's
It feels
pose any
meaningless.
sort of danger to you, which if you compare to classic World of Warcraft is the exact opposite, right? When you reach the end game, you're not about to die because you're already too powerful, but in the early game, man, even killing one unit is a hassle. Like, it's gonna take some blood, sweat, and tears out of you for sure.
Most people these days understand that level 1 enemies ain't shit, which is exactly why people fell in love with Dark Souls. It's why people love Elden Ring. It's why people love a game that's like, oh fuck, I've actually got to sit forward and think about this, right? When you're going through the Guild Wars 2 experience for the very first time and you're a new player, if you're coming from another MMO, like WoW Classic or something, you feel like a fucking lawnmower. You're just mowing down everything in front of you. And for a lot of people, if there's, it feels floaty. How do I say this? It feels like everything is almost a fever dream where nothing actually matters. And that's going to turn some people away.
moving on. After defeating the last statue of Stalin in an admittedly epic battle, we are ready to leave tutorial warzone into tutorial starting area, which is the same place.
When did you feel you had to actually start gearing? I know the longest time you said it doesn't matter, because it genuinely doesn't. So my main, the stream account that I use for Guild Wars 2, I've never felt that way, because you fuckers keep on giving me stuff. My secondary account, where I double check all the things that I put into a video, Heart of Thorns, felt like, okay, now I need to start gearing up, because every now and then something would push my shit in, and I'd be like, fuck, that just beat my ass. And I felt like I actually had to pay attention and think about things.
It's just with less ghosts and not instanced. So welcome to Smokestead. The transition here is a little bit odd. We've now gone from battle-hardened soldier to pest control handyman who's here to autocorrect a few sentient rats out of existence.
Man, my audio's so bad. My audio's so dog shit. You can hear the jumps, and it's so fucking terrible.
And learn a little bit more about the world around us. And look, as much as I want to be negative about Guild Wars 2, I can't say I hate this experience. We get a few more abilities, learn some important skills like how to dodge.
It's way more fun. Oh, dude.
And learn.
Yeah, he just bombarded himself. It happened to me too, Chief. But yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, the quest
While players can't dodge.
nature of Guild Wars 2, which is not really without quest. You just don't take them yourself. You just kind of go into the environment in certain zone and just do the thing you're
Yeah, you
supposed
just
to be
go
doing
somewhere.
to help the people. Like, this is
That's another part that's actually going to turn off some new players, is that sometimes the game feels directionless. And you're not quite sure what you're supposed to do with that. I know that's like a minor gripe, and that requires your average player to have some degree of critical thinking where they have to make a decision for themselves. But a lot of the time, there are people who start an MMO, and if they feel it's directionless and like there's no point to what they're doing, or there's no advance on what they're doing, then they just immediately drop the game. And I think the only thing that holds it together at lower levels is the fact that dynamic quests are so much better than hard quests. Much better.
great idea. I love that. I love the fact you don't have any quest markers. You just literally go to a certain zone and you just help the people. It really...
So you see, that's also a fine opinion to have, because he's part of the players that are like, I love being able to decide what I want to do. But certain people are like, what the fuck am I supposed to do next? Fuck this, and then leave.
makes you feel immersed inside of the world of Tyria. This is actually a fantastic design decision, and currently, as I'm like going through the motions and experiencing the game again from scratch, I'm having a blast. It is...
I disagree. I think Guild Wars 2 is a good enough game that it could give you direction, and that direction be optional, and then you still get to go out and fuck around in the world, because this is ADHD amplified to an insane degree, because every single time you're in this game, you think you're going to do something specific, and you end up doing everything except that one goal, and you still have a great time. I think that the level capping on the main story questline is the biggest fuck up that they did.
really enjoyable to me. Oh, I'm back. Sorry for that, guys. I had to go there for a second to blow my nose. I have such a nasty cold.
Learn to develop a case of
Jesus, I
epilepsy
hate
from
winter.
all the spell effects happening around us. Come to think of it, that's one of the problems with this game. You see, combat is interesting. More on that in a second.
True.
But there's just so much visual clutter that it's difficult to...
Swap the weapon.
Oh my god, the abilities change when you switch weapons. And not just that, every profession wields the same weapon in a completely different way, which just adds to the fantasy of the game. Someone...
But it also...
Man, I really did not give a fuck about the edits. I gotta get back to that. I gotta just start making stupid meme jokes everywhere. I really did not give a fuck whether a joke landed or not.
completely breaks class identity. And I know you guys have told me that you don't care about that and you feel like everyone should do anything and this is fine with you. It's not fine with me, and it will never be. This is just me. You know what? This is just how I operate. I love it when a class is limited. I'm a true D&D enjoyer.
I think the classes are limited in Guild Wars 2, and you don't really realize that until much later in the game, because you feel like you can pick up every weapon. You don't register that you are locked out of certain weapon choices.
And classes need to have strengths and weaknesses. Whenever a class does everything, it's just not good in my opinion. And like, I'm sorry, I know you guys have told me you should look at Guardian as sort of a magical armor type of dude. But yeah, why does he blink? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, right? He can use magic.
I can tell you why he blinks. He blinks because the game is trying to work under the idea of there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to do this. Right? The game is, it's like, it seems like a really fucking stupid thing to tell someone, why can't my character just pick up a gun and shoot people, right? And so I think in a world that's got magic in it, if you're like a guardian, which is essentially something similar to a paladin, why would a paladin who's using magic already not adapt his magic to be as optimal as possible? Now, there's an argument about specialization, but I think the specialization is covered under the fact that most classes have a different ability set that comes with each weapon. He wants to go back to the age where the entire class are just locked out of group content because they don't have a specific type of utility. Yeah, that's not going to work. You can't go back to that Green Sky Wizard. That's a vestigial part of MMOs that doesn't work in the modern day.
Sure, but he blinks? It's kind of weird. I don't think this should be the case, but...
It's weird because you've played WoW forever.
You know, that's just me. That's how I view
That's WoW
combat.
brain.
And
Yes,
it is what it is. My
100%
opinion
agree.
on this is never going to change, but I can completely see, like agree and see why you guys love this system so much. It's just, I just don't think it's that optimal. But that's just my opinion.
But the Guardian profession will pick up a two-handed sword and identify it as a manually operated wood chipper. But a Mesmo will pick up the same sword and instead see a long metal wand made for ranged combat. Avada could...
And again, it's really weird. It is really,
Man, I
really
made such
weird.
fucking-
It's kind of like the sword.
And I love that. I love the fact that it's weird. The fact that it's weird is what makes it unique. Also, my fucking cringe jokes. Yeah, goddamn.
It's just there for, you know, optics, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't really make any sense.
Can't believe that shit worked. Now, I've never in my life thought of a sword as a ranged weapon, but Guild Wars 2 made that possible, and I can appreciate...
And there's a reason. Like, there is a reason. It's just not good. It's not... I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I know you're gonna hate me for saying that. It's weird, okay?
I think that's WoW Brain. I can understand where he's coming from, because I've had WoW Brain for the longest time. I get it. But I like the fact that it was weird and wacky and did things that other games didn't.
Doesn't connect. In my brain, how can a sword be ranged weapon in this manner? You can do some cool stuff like summoning spirit weapons and stuff. I think that's pretty dope, and it kind of makes sense. But just zapping through the sword, come on, like it is kind of off to me.
that. As I played my way through the starting area, though, certain unavoidable realities about the combat began to dawn on me. As I've hinted at, magic effects in this game are so bright I feel like I'm staring into the fucking sun sometimes. But that's about the worst I have to say about it. Guild Wars 2 has somehow made a hybrid tab targeting system that feels immersive and smooth to play, even in 2023. Part of this likely has to do with the fact that if I've positioned myself wrong and use an ability, my character doesn't tell me, but instead it's more of a sure. I don't mind flailing the sword around in the Walmart parking lot, but it's also more than that. Almost every single combat factor feels important. Your timing, your positioning, how you choose to approach a fight depending on your profession, all of it matters, except what ability you decide to press, at least at the lower levels. Now, I'm sure...
Yes. I still hold that opinion. It doesn't fucking matter. Just lick your keyboard in any direction and you'll be fine.
It looks cool, man. My decision was either Guardian or Mesmer, and I went for Guardian because I love tankiness. But damn, Mesmer looks fine. Maybe it will be my ult. But you know what? For now, let's focus on the Guardian.
The endgame, that statement is likely to not hold true. But right here, right now, it honestly doesn't feel like it matters what button I press because my character is a walking god of death. Everything I touch just dies. And for someone who's never played MMOs before and picked up Guild Wars 2, that's the thing that's likely to take them out of the experience the most. There's no initial challenge, but other than that, there's plenty of weapons to experiment with, a not overwhelming amount of buttons to push, and all of what you're doing feels well tied to the fantasy of Tony the Tiger's albino brother looking for his lost dad. While we go through all these little quests that build up the world a little bit, we finally come of age at level 10 and are given permission to leave the opium fields to pursue our own personal jihad. We enter into a city that gives off first-person Kenshi vibe.
They should remove the level requirement on the story for quests so that it forces you to try and level your character. I 100% agree with you, Cyro. And you know what? You want to know something? I keep hearing the excuse, oh, but what about the Black Lion chest farming? Then change the fucking Black Lion chests. Don't fuck up the entire leveling system for a fucking chest that's gonna sit there because they're trying to get you to buy keys. Fuck that. Change the Black Lion chests and how they work.
More importantly,
this is their
we're given our
starting
first mount. Huh.
There
Now
it
that
is.
was underwhelming. No
Hold on. What? Hold on. Help me. I just built a whole new ass computer and I installed Linux. Where my fucking... Oh, God. Oh, God. I wish you the best. I'm sure your husband will be very proud of you. Just remember to tell him that you're a power bottom. Hey, Neapolitan Eagle, thanks for the subs. What the fuck are you people doing? It's Christmas. Spend your money on yourselves, you fuckers. Jesus Christ. Now, Neapolitan Eagle, now I've got to find out where you live, and everyone's going to send me their pictures of their schlong, and fucking, I have to send it to you in the mail. I have to dox you now. God damn it. You motherfucker. It is Christmas. You're supposed to spend money on people in your life that matter, if not yourself. Also, say thank you, goddammit. Fuck, my taxes are going to be so bad next year because I'm going to have completely forgotten about these. I'm going to fuck it up and my 25-year-old accountant is going to look at me like, you are such a fuck up with your taxes. Because that's what he told me. He told me that last time. And I was like, yeah, I know. I know. Please don't get me raped in prison. Fucking bastard.
Questline, no story integration. Just congrats on level 10. Here's a fucking dinosaur. Now, I don't know about you.
Because it wasn't implemented inside of the game when it was launched, right? It was something that came in a later expansion, and they kind of just integrated inside of the starting leveling experience. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure mounts...
And none of that matters. None of that matters because you got to judge the game on what it currently is as opposed to what it was in the past.
wasn't part of the base game. I'm 99% sure.
But back in...
They came with Path of Fire, right? And Glide came with Heart of Thorns. And from what I've heard, right? I'm not a Guild Wars 2 player. Again, like, I play World of Warcraft. But I'm pretty sure I'm right about this.
My day, playing WoW when everyone thought that you
it.
could fix the Paladin nuke
Let me know
sword
in
by
the comments.
fishing.
It's kind of weird that your cock bends at a 90-degree angle when it's erect, but I mean, I suppose that means you can fuck things around corners, which is pretty cool.
When you got your first mount,
True.
it felt...
Wait, what?
that you could fix the Paladin nuke sword by fishing. When you got your first mount...
Oh man, it was supposed to be such a legendary questline, and Blizzard, I don't know if they forgot about that, or they
No, Blizzard fucked it up because they have no idea how to keep consistency when it comes to those things.
planned it for, I don't know, something more grandiose, but no, it just ended up being nothing. Like, the Corrupted Ashbringer questline should have been so goddamn good, where you purify it, and you should have gone to the, well, you know, the Burning Crusade expansion, right?
Yep.
To all of the starting zone. Hellfire Peninsula and stuff. Man, it's crazy. They said the Outlands, if I remember correctly. It was supposed to be so good. If you haven't done this quest, just look it up on YouTube. It is amazing. You get this legendary...
It was fucking incredible. I remember doing it back in the day. I did it on my Huntard because I wanted to piss off a bunch of paladins by having a fucking two-handed sword on my back. I wanted the Ashbringer on a Huntard. And I was so fucking mad that the fishing quest didn't lead to it.
Weapon called Corrupted Ashbringer, and you take it to a certain, not raid dungeon, called the Scarlet Crusade, Scarlet Monastery, sorry.
So what's this General Apple guy anyway? He looks like he dates goats or scams elderly ladies, but his accent sounds like he's got a sombrero under that blanket. I don't know. I don't know this guy. He's got some pretty based opinions though, so it doesn't sound like he works in a call center. He sounds good. I mean, a few here and there, you know, that I disagree with, but nothing egregious.
Sorry. And wow, everyone, instead of being hostile towards you, they just kneel before...
Can you do the quest still today? I think you can do it if you play WoW Classic, but you're not going to get the Corrupted Ashbringer. You get that from Mograine in Plaguelands, if I remember correctly, but I might be wrong about that because it's been so fucking long. But modern game, I think it's still there, but it's vestigial and no one does it.
For you. It's incredible. I love this interaction. We have nothing similar to this in MMOs. Like, nobody did anything like that, as far as I'm aware of.
Yes.
It felt
Back
amazing.
in the day, yes.
You had to grind for hours to make enough money to afford that bastard, because it's likely you wasted all your money on repair bills from exploration-related debts or doing something else stupid in-game. And you had to walk to your computer desk uphill, barefoot, in the snow, while it was raining fire, all while your dad chased after you with a belt. But here in Guild Wars 2, it's just kinda...
Nope.
And then that all changed when I pressed the W key.
I still cannot believe that this video did not get fucking censored or banned because of this fucking scene.
I love this meme. Everything changes. By the way, this meme, I'm sorry. By the way, I'm usually against getting mounts this early, but I think that in Guild Wars 2 it actually kind of works. And I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I have criticized games for giving you mounts too early. I still think that it is bad, but
I still remember the mental breakdown Muckluck had seeing this. He fucking skipped through it, the bastard.
I mean, in Guild Wars 2, it just kind of works since the nature of the game is horizontal instead of vertical. So it doesn't really matter when you get...
At least he doesn't hold back on his opinion, even though he knows Guild Wars 2 community thinks otherwise. I appreciate that. I think that if he's got an opinion that he disagrees with me on, or disagrees with anyone on, he should fucking say it. Because he might have a point that all of us come to realize later. It's always the best idea, even if you've got a fucking shitty opinion that you're going to change later, or other people have a shitty opinion that you can change their mind on, you should say what your opinion is.
Get your mounts because everything is gonna stay the same anyway, right? There is no real power scaling and progression. Well, there is to a certain degree, but not as like vertical MMOs, right? When they actually rely on that.
Yeah.
Where, sorry, not when. Yep. It's so good.
I transparented this because there's a streak of jizz that comes out of here, so I think I had to cut this particular scene a little bit early.
It is so good.
I take back what I said. This iguana feels pretty good. This mount doesn't just have one singular speed, it accelerates from a stationary position. It has a turn radius. It even has abilities. And as much as WoW bit off of Guild Wars 2 for the Dragonflight mount system, it still feels like they've done a better job in the original, and we're still...
No, they actually screwed this up too. It's
really
crazy, huh? Blizzard can't even copy their homework right. Which is...
They really did. They really fucked it up. I played through Dragonflight, and Dragonflight's abilities on their fucking fuck. Fuck you. God damn it, you motherfucker. What was I saying? Fuck, you fucking MIB mind wiped me there. You motherfucker. Ah, fuck, I can't remember. You dick. You fucking bastard.
Absolutely insane thing to say, but it's true.
currently only level 10. God damn it, Guild Wars 2. Why can't you just let me hate you like an MMO player normally hates everything they play? Haven't you taken enough from me? Alright, fine. I'll admit that the hybrid tab targeting system feels good and immersive to play with. I'll begrudgingly accept that this little ability bar isn't overcomplicated or oversimplified. All while
No, it's not overcomplicated at all. The problem is you're getting your abilities way too fast, and also you have weapon switching, which essentially...
You get your abilities way too fast. I think it's a catch-22. I think you need to get your abilities fast because there's so few of them. The range of abilities that happens is when you start getting into the later expansions. But the problem is, if they gave you your abilities too slow, you would spend too many levels with just your auto attack and maybe one ability. So I think it's a catch-22 here. For fuck's sakes, Edax. God damn it. You motherfucker. Spend your money on yourself. You know how much worse bits are to try and figure out? Bits are actually the worst thing to try and figure out with taxes because there's like a double tax thing. You dick, stop it. Spend your money on your fucking self. Thanks for the follow, Rally.
Actually gives you like 4 more abilities to play with, and it kind of happens really fast.
I'm gonna change
but
categories.
it's just the nature of Guild Wars 2. You get used to it someday, like someday.
You have to.
Why the hell did I sound like that? You just someday you actually get used to that. But I can understand why people are confused. You are getting the abilities a bit too fast.
it keeps the character's class abilities in line with the in-game lore. But do they really have to make things straightforward enough that some new player who's never played an MMO before can stumble into this game and enjoy themselves? And that they could probably do this without looking up a single guide online. Won't you consider the suffering this causes a veteran player like me? How am I, as a salty old player, supposed to gatekeep this experience when even the A and D keys are bound to strafing instead of keyboard turning by default? How am I Oh, thank God. Something to bitch about. There's an in-game store. This game is pay to win. Absolutely disgusting. I have never, in my life, seen a cat.
I got death threats for this. I got death threats for this part of my fucking video. I got so many death threats because I said Guild Wars 2 was pay to win. I still laugh about this. Here, let me show you. Let me show you something. Let me just find my main channel. I'm sure it's dead by now. Let's just find it. Someone else has stolen my fucking name. Fucking, where is it? Here we go. Where is it? Where is it? I just gotta show you. Where is it? I got fucking death threats. I got death threats for saying Guild Wars 2. It's pay to win. Oh, for God's sakes. For God's sakes, 8x. For fuck's sakes. At least you did it on... Is that on Kick? I think that's on Kick. No, it's not. It's on Twitter. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Fuck you, dude. Spend your money on your pregnant wife, goddammit. Go get her some fried chicken right now. Also, you may notice something really interesting about this entire scene here. The scariest thing that I got sent was none of the death threats. It was this right here. This was fucking terrifying. That scared me more than any death threat I've ever seen. This man sent me a link to his personal 1 terabyte of fucking cat porn. Was that from Super? I don't think if it was from Super, he was using a different email or throwaway email. No, I don't think that was from Super unless he was hiding his identity at the time. It was fucking devastating to me. That was the scariest thing. That was more of a threat than anything else.
Empathetic and
Back to the main video.
cash shop so
Stop it, 8x. God damn it.
so
Hold on, she can't have fried chicken. She's got a malfunctioning ball bladder. Well, you got to fix her ball sack then. The mega gallstones, so she can't have more than 30 kilograms. 30 grams of fat a day. Ooh, that's rough. And she can get the gallbladder removed after the baby's born. That's rough. That's a rough one. Remember to beat your wife. That'll if you hit her hard enough, that'll break up the gallstones, and then she doesn't have to worry about it. Also, if you manage to beat your pregnant wife hard enough, it's not a downside in today's society because you know that your kid's gonna grow up to be a TikTok star.
Oh no.
mediocre? God damn it, who am I kidding? There's much worse out there. Keep in mind, this doesn't make the second.
And also, you need to remember that this game isn't subscription based. You pay one time and that's it. Like,
Yes.
having a cash up in such a game, in my opinion, is okay. Depends on what the cash up contains. Now,
It's only okay because the pay to win in Guild Wars 2 is so minor that it doesn't really match that much. The real pay to win that happens in Guild Wars 2 is all the fucking skins. It's the way people dress up their characters. It truly is the Fashion Wars 2 of gaming. And that to me is pure pay to win because that's all that matters to Guild Wars 2 players.
Now, Guild Wars 2 cash up,
looking
as far
better
as
than
I've
everyone
seen,
else.
didn't have anything too out of the ordinary. But again, I'm not that familiar with the game, so you guys can tell me more on that. For me, like, I can only speak, for myself. It doesn't really bother me. But I'm usually against cash ups, like in every single game. But since Guild Wars 2 isn't subscription based, you just play the game, you just buy it once and that's it. You play it forever.
But Guild Wars 2 pay to win is only in fashion. It's not, but it's the other stuff so minor. The way I define pay to win is if you can win back your time from the game by paying something to them. That's pay to win, right? So if you get an XP booster, one guy's going to spend 5 hours doing something and you're going to spend 4 hours. You won back 1 hour of your time versus the guy who didn't, right? I have a very stringent and strict reasoning behind pay to win. But the idea of pay to win in Guild Wars 2 is so minor in comparison to everything else that it doesn't feel like it's even there in the modern day of gaming. That's why.
This is okay. This is okay with me.
Acceptable in my opinion, but it could be
Real
much
pay to win is
worse.
the
The
bank
biggest thing
storage.
to
True.
complain about here is probably the utility and upgrade tabs. From what I can tell, the utility and upgrade tabs are all about creating a
Listen to that disgusting switch in audio. Fuck, I've got to fix that.
problem to sell a solution. With the old pay for convenience line attached to it. You know how it goes. Extra bag space, bank tabs, crafting shortcuts, that kind of stuff. Now all of that stuff
You can pay for crafting. Okay,
Yep.
that's kind of bad. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I expected, but then it takes a little bit of a darker turn.
extra character slots, waypoint unlocks, the fact that gold doesn't
what?
just
A little bit of a darker turn.
extra character slots,
You can, oh my god, account jumpstart. You can actually pay for that?
There
Okay,
you go.
that's a bit disgusting. I
There
gotta
you go.
admit, like waypoint
Yeah,
unlock,
there you go. Now
that's
you're
kind
seeing it.
of wild.
point unlocks, the fact that gold doesn't just convert to gems, but gems also convert to gold, that is
Yeah,
pretty low.
that-
But
I
again,
knew about that.
admittedly,
That's
it's
kinda
surprising
bad.
it's not worse considering
I love how everyone who sent me death threats skipped over this part where I said, admittedly, in comparison to everything else, it's not that bad.
The developer and publisher of this game. But at least there's a solution to this as a first-time player. You see, I don't care about being the best, most well-kitted out Guild Wars 2 player. I don't care about high performance. I'm just here for an experience. So with this one magic spell, we can get rid of all these problems. Now let's get back to our adventure.
Doesn't matter.
So after dicking about in the Mad Max Thunderdome for a while, things at this point become just a little bit formulaic. We do our quests, we level up, we get thrown into some story-based instance stuff. We're just kind of muddling around in... What the hell is that? Hold on one sec. Oh, so it's like a point of interest discovery.
By the way, I've lost enough weight that I can no longer wear those pants. I'm proud of myself for that. I put those pants on, they shoot down to around my ankles. I have to use belts now.
Map thingy. Anyway, as I was saying, we're kind of What the hell is that? 1 second.
Now is the best time to upload a new Guild Wars 2 video. I know! But guess what? I'm going to spend a fucking month making the next Guild Wars 2 video because my Dune video got deleted off this fucking shitty hard drive that died when my roof collapsed.
I'm not missing this. Oh. Well, that was fun. Now, what was I saying? At this point, I can't even remember. And that seems to be the thing with Guild Wars 2. There's a ton of content.
That is so fact. It's crazy. You're so distracted by something that just randomly happens next to you. It's incredible. I mean, this is just goes to show how good the game is and like keeping you constantly hooked, right? And it doesn't do it in a forcible way. It doesn't force itself on you. It doesn't tell you like, oh, you need to do this daily thing or it's gone forever.
Oh my god, I'm so fucking tired of seeing dailies. It's been years since I did a daily quest in WoW. And I still have PTSD from that. Fuck, Dune game was a massive disappointment. I think it was good. I like Dune. The thing is, it just wasn't an MMO. But it marketed itself as that, and that's the worst thing you can do.
No, it's just fun. Something pops up, you look at it, and oh, this looks pretty good, and you do it. With other people, always.
I remember back in the day when the Firelands expansion released. It was during exams in school. I woke up every morning at 3. I've never been more motivated in my life to have woken up and done daily quests non-fucking stop for the Firelands expansion, the pre-patch expansion. And once it was over, I realized that studying for all my exams was less excruciating and less time consuming than doing those dailies. Wasn't worth it.
And it is always fun. Like, that is just great.
World events, jumping puzzles with rewards, open-ended quests with a lot more to experience, even at these lower levels. Getting sidetracked feels almost mandatory as you level up. Guild Wars 2 has somehow struck a good balance between the story-based quests and helping us explore the world through side quests and whatever else we want to do. And that's one of the hidden hallmarks of a great MMO. You're just not able to help yourself, and you need to know what that thing you saw was in the distance, or the game giving you every opportunity to be involved in some dynamic world event. Now combine that with Guild Wars 2's fever dream-like graphics, and it's like being the world's worst ADHD patient on peyote. By the time I had regained my grip on my focus, I was level 20, looking for a dad I once lost in an orphanage-shaped daycare all those years ago. After finding him, I realized why he may have abandoned us. Look, I'm no expert in genetics, but we're a little bit on the light side for that to be our dad. But either way, he decides to accept us as his...
You missed the only real FOMO part of Guild Wars 2, which is when Living World Season 1 was limited time, I grinded the shit out of the game because of that. I'm glad that they brought it back. I'm glad that they left it alone and that it wasn't just like a thing that disappeared forever. That was a good change.
Real son under the condition that we free him from prison and get revenge on his old gang for him, so that's exactly what we do. What's notable about this questline though is that the game gave us the option to keep him in prison. What's impressive here is that the MSQ is based all on the one backstory I chose way back in the character creator. Eventually though, we pay our father's bail, find the feral cats that he had been hanging out with and sterilize them away from life, resolve the story for now, and are back to adventuring out in the open world. Now I had come into this game without reading a single guide or watching a single video. The only thing I had done was...
Wait, Kanak has an intro arc? They definitely need to bring that shit back. I used my 8 a.m. Unix course to get the Netherwing Drakes. Being up at 7 a.m. meant I couldn't farm all the dragon eggs before anyone else. It's because WoW players don't wake up before noon.
Make a post on Reddit, and that convinced me that interacting with people was a bad idea. But through witnessing my sheer unbridled stupidity,
He's right
I
about
had
that.
someone who's been playing this game since the birth of our current universe expose me to both the likely origin of the no-no flu that gets you shadow banned for mentioning it, and eventually the first dungeon I had been looking for. Now this has been a long
I
trip,
still
but
need to do a dungeon.
not an unenjoyable one. I
Do a
wish I
dungeon.
could have stuck
Do a dungeon. Oh my god, it's so important to do a fucking dungeon when you're leveling up because it's got the best pieces of the story content are actually hidden in the fucking dungeons. It's such a bad decision. The best parts of the story, the best components that make you care about characters like fucking Air and Ritlock and all of that is locked away in the dungeons. It's so frustrating.
stuck to my original goal and been a salty little baby about this game. Maybe make a spicy thumbnail for this video, rake in those clickbaited rage views saying this game is terrible. But I
know it's
can't
fun.
do it. Guild Wars 2 is not without its problems, but it is still an incredible MMO. It took me by surprise how well loved this game is by its players and community at large. This entire MMORPG can be summarized in the words, they didn't have to, but they did. The devs didn't have to make mounts with accelerations instead of flat speeds, but they did. They didn't have to voice act out the main character storyline with what must have been a shit ton of lines for some voice actors, but they did. They didn't have to put in all this extra effort into making the combat system world.
You know, I never thought I'd say this. I kind of miss the Theater Kid cutscenes where it's just your character talking to someone else because you can just skip through dialogue you don't give a fuck about. So if you're replaying the experience or you're trying to go through something, you don't have to wait around waiting for the same voice lines you've heard before. I kind of miss them.
Story, quests, or scenery, and could have just gone with your stock standard MMO approach and ended up with a perfectly fine MMO, but they did, and
No, not really. I think what makes Guild Wars 2 so good is the fact that they're so different. I mean, from other MMOs, right? Because you already have
That's my point, though. It's so different because they didn't have to do all these extra things. They could have done exactly what every other MMO did and been fine. But it's the fact that they put in all these little details that made it so different. Also, no timing was good. Yes, I agree with you on that one.
all of these MMOs, and right now we're witnessing each and every MMO that came out in the recent years have crumbled. Like,
Yes.
nothing succeeded. Nothing stood.
Because there's no extra effort put into all the tiny little details that tie the world together, that add to the things that make it weird, that give it unique flavor and story to it. I agree with him, but he's missing my point.
Test of time, and recently we've seen it with New
Merry
World.
Christmas,
It's
Real
just
Official.
completely garbage. It's dead. And I mean, but the point he's making the video, the game was still out and alive, but nowadays we know what happened. And this is really the thing. Guild Wars 2 is Guild Wars 2. You can never take it you can never take that for bad or worse, like for worse or, good. I don't know, I kind of messed up the sentence there. Guild Wars 2 is still the same. And it's a very good
It
thing
is.
that you guys have one game that you can always rely on, and that includes myself. You've welcomed me as a garbage WoW player that just made like 1 or 2 Guild Wars 2 videos.
That's really funny. On my second account in WoW, when I was leveling a character, I think I must have leveled 3 different characters, and I forgot the V button existed. I forgot that you could dodge, and multiple times I got hit when I was in like a group content. And what's really, really funny is more than once in the party, someone would be like, "You came from WoW, didn't you?" They knew. They fucking knew.
And you actually took me inside your world, and I appreciate you guys so much for that too, because I'm starting to discover a game that I really enjoy. Because back in the day when I first tried it, I couldn't appreciate it for what it was. I tried to force my mentality of playing World of Warcraft onto Guild Wars 2, and that didn't work. That's why I ended up quitting after 2 months of playing. But nowadays that's not the case. I'm way more chill. I'm doing things my own way and at my own pace. And suddenly, the game looks...
Good luck venting in a Lara stream. I won't go into a stream. I'll get on a voice chat and start talking about how the Asura are just analogous to Jews or something. And just ruin her entire stream. So that's probably never happening.
10 times better. And it is also
Just
10
for the
times more
shits and
enjoyable.
giggles.
That's what makes Guild Wars 2 feel so special. Now, this might be crazy to say. It almost feels like this game was made by people who not just like, but maybe even love the MMO genre. But maybe that's just early onset schizophrenia from being flashbanged by the Mesmer's abilities one too many times. If somehow, like me, you still haven't played Guild Wars 2 at this point and just want a bullet point list of the good versus the bad, then here it is. Starting with the bad. Guild Wars 2 throws a lot of complex systems at you, which can be overwhelming at times. There's a lot of complexity in this game, and it's easy to miss something important, like the fact that you can upgrade your gear, or that you have to equip your specialization to your character before you can gain its benefit. This feeling of being overwhelmed also carries over to the way things look, and sometimes there's a lot of visual clutter to deal with. Some abilities are blinding or distracting to the point that you're not quite sure if
Personally, I didn't feel that. Maybe it's because I'm playing a Guardian or something,
Yeah,
but
it's 'cause
I
you're playing
thought
Guardian.
animations were fine.
you've missed
play
something
Mesmer.
important or not. There's a pay-to-win shop, and no, on this channel, we don't pussy out and use weasel words like pay for convenience. It's all the same thing, and
Pay for convenience is pay to win. I will always say that. But
Thank
this is
you.
kind of a Western
Yes.
MMO thinking, because I know that
Yes.
Eastern MMO gamers don't see pay for convenience as pay to win. I do. Like, I think most Western MMORPG players will consider pay for convenience pay to win.
at the end of the day, it's there to get you to spend more money. None of that really matters as you're leveling up your character, but that's something to keep in mind if you plan to stick with this game all the way to max level. And finally, there are some bugs, strange error messages, and issues with the game, but nothing so far that it's been game-breaking or made me have an uninstall moment. Moving on to the good, and there's a lot of good, so I'm just going to stick to the main points. Guild Wars 2 base game is free to play, making it far more enjoyable knowing I could stop at
Man, the audio jumps are so bad, they're driving me insane.
any point in time, and my anorexic
Crazy.
bank account isn't going to get any thinner. There are no negative pressures here compelling me to play the game if I don't want to. This is also
And that's probably the major appeal
Yes.
of this game for me
And this is exactly why Guild Wars 2 is going to outlast WoW.
right now, because I had enough of all of the dailies and all of this trash and all of the pop-ups. Like, I truly had enough. And I'm glad Guild Wars 2 is just a game I can log in, do whatever the hell I want to do currently. I set a goal for the day, and that's it. Like, I love that. And I said this before, and I'll say this again. Whenever a game forces you to log in every single day to do
Yes.
some arbitrary task, it may seem like it
There's one arbitrary task. There's one arbitrary task that Guild Wars 2 has. Just one. Can you guess what it is? It's the daily login bonus. It's the Wizard Vault. That's it. Log in, click a button, and leave if you really feel like it. More than anything else, that's what it feels like. Everything else feels like, I can do this later.
it's beneficial for you to do this short term, but for longevity, it is the worst decision that one can ever make, because all of these games that implement these sort of systems are now dead.
And the Mystic Coin.
Like WoW,
Yeah, but I couldn't
is
give a
dead.
fuck about the
Nobody's
Mystic Coin.
playing WoW. The only reason WoW is still alive is because of Classic. Way more
Agree.
people are playing Classic because
Agree.
this is what used to be good.
Yes.
And nowadays, retail is trash. Nobody even talks about the game anymore. It's just the way.
Again, WoW Classic made the game feel like it mattered, because when you played the game, you grinded out some amount of whatever the fuck you were doing, and you would come back later, and all that grinding still mattered. The second that they release an expansion in WoW, every single piece of grinding you did in the previous expansion is completely invalidated. I know this because I completely skipped the Mists of Pandaria expansion, and I came back later, and guess what? It didn't fucking matter. It didn't matter one single fucking bit.
And that's it. Like, only addicts are
Didn't do
still
anything.
playing this game for some reason. Well, I guess they're addicts, but I don't know why, to be honest. But sure, one day they would realize their wrongdoings and they will stop as well. So I think for long term, what Guild Wars is doing is way better, because whenever
Yes.
a new expansion comes out, I believe that 80%.
And here's the really funny part about that. WoW would love to copy the way Guild Wars 2 has designed their game, but the fundamental basis of WoW's design means that they cannot do that. They cannot make that change. They fuck things up so bad that they can't even copy Guild Wars 2's homework at this point.
of the people who are playing the game will purchase it, and more people will come into the game eventually. Now, again, I think the game isn't more popular simply because it's horizontal.
But if you do not want to do the old stuff, why should you have to do it? It's not about whether you feel like doing it or not. It's about the fact that the players who did do the old stuff have all their stuff invalidated immediately upon the next expansion. So if you skipped it, it doesn't matter. But for someone else who went through all that grind, who went through all of that shit, who developed their character, who did all the stuff, who got attached to what they were doing, who did something that felt like an incredible achievement, next expansion comes out, doesn't fucking matter. Think about it this way. How fucking awesome would you have known someone to be in the Burning Crusade expansion if they were playing a rogue or a warrior and you saw them with 2 Warglaives of Azeroth? You know that guy was the fucking man. But by Cataclysm, did that matter? Did any of the effort and energy they went through, did that have any impact on the gameplay of the current game at all? No. Hunter with Warglaives is the best. Absolutely, I agree. Running around wing clipping people and doing nothing else. But then you're done with the game. Why bother doing anything if there's no reason to get it? Exactly. But that's exactly the point. You're done with the game. You're like, I'm not going to bother doing this. You could play Guild Wars 2 tomorrow, do something, come back a year later, and it still feels like you got something out of what you did previously.
Nature, I think most gamers are vertical Andes, and that's fine. I'm glad that Guild Wars 2 is the way that it is. That's what I was trying to say. That's basically pretty much it.
A very detailed game with a lot of love and time put into it, and that becomes very obvious the more you play it. Everything from the story to the world design itself feels on point. Nothing about this experience.
I take that back. I take that back about the story. This was the first impression. I hadn't hit Zaitan yet.
Experience is mismatched. Combat is simple to learn but has a high skill ceiling depending on what character class you pick up. But more than that, the higher your level goes, the more the flow of combat feels impactful. Initially, I told you that at the lower levels it doesn't really matter what buttons you push. But as you level up, the world around you begins to become a threat, much like aging in real life. And if you're not paying attention to your health bar, you'll find yourself squirming around on the floor, trying to bandage yourself up before you get Bull Cosby'd. And even at low levels, I can tell that the lore of this game appears to be coherent, consistent, and integrated into the gameplay itself. This is the kind of MMO story that makes you care about what you're doing. You're not just running out into the wilderness, killing 10 bears to collect 10 bear asses at a drop rate of 10%. You're protecting a farmer's livelihood by killing the bandits that would have otherwise stole all of his cattle. You're negotiating a peace treaty between two.
And you get to experience all of this in sort of a...
This is where it started. I saw this character and I'm like, God damn, Norn bitches have something going for them.
Real time too, and it's a very dynamic system. Where
But I take back that part about caring about the story. They shouldn't have put Bray or Timey in there. If they cared about the story, they should have fixed up the Zaitan fight. They should have made it fan. My conspiracy theory, though, this is my headcanon, right? Remember that part in Path of Fire where Joko starts claiming that he's the one who killed Zaitan? My headcanon is that when Zaitan fell out of the sky after you pissed on him a bunch of times, he fell right on top of Joko and Joko fucked him up.
Have stuff happening, like I'm currently playing as a human, so centaurs, the story is that centaurs are basically just harassing the humans constantly and with war with them. So the thing is...
Oh, he would love the fucking joke I made about centaurs and human women in another one of my videos.
You can actually raid like a centaur, zone, and then they try to fight you. You can push back on them, or maybe you can stop a centaur raid, and all of this stuff are very dynamic and so cool.
Right. How is it that you can simp for Norn women and not come across as a safe, horny Redditor? I'll tell you how, right? Because I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, wow, she's so pretty and all of that shit. I'm going to be like, look at the fucking tits on that one. That's how. Yeah, you see, you could say the same thing, but in two different ways, and it gives off two different opinions, right? If I tell you that Norn women remind me of my wife because every night it's like climbing a fucking mountain and playing Shadow of the Colossus, that'll get me banned off of Reddit. But some gay little Redditor will get online and be like, oh my god, they're so pretty. I love them so much because Earth, my queen. Pussy. Say what you really think. Tell us you've busted nuts. Tell us you had to get a new keyboard because you just kept on sticking up the old one.
Because you actually feel like you're doing something, like you're contributing to the.
By the way, someone told me a new term. Someone told me a new term for it. A buddy looked at me. He looked at my midget height, and he looked at my wife, and he's like, she's tall for a woman, right? And you know what he called me after that? He called me a lumberjack. He was like, yeah, you're lumberjacking it through life, aren't you? Because you're knocking down those tall trees. And I'm not mad about it. What a fucking great term.
World. And I love that. And for some really special missions, you actually get a few nice items out of that too. Like you get some legendary stuff, maybe stuff from crafting, like not legendary, but really important stuff for legendaries and stuff. This is very cool. I love that a lot.
Races who've hated each other for centuries. Or you're protecting your people from the haunted burial ground.
Meltiva, it's funny that you say that because I've written out something on my phone that's fairly similar to that about a Guild Wars 2 video that I want to work on next year.
That they decided to build their house on top of. All in all, I'd say that even now, in 2023, Guild Wars 2 is worth your time. The short answer here is that this isn't just a game trying to suck you into some mindless grindfest, but a fantasy world and a story to experience. I can tell you right now that even after I'm done with this first impression, whenever I've got a spare moment, I'm likely going to pick up this game again. But it looks like our Wrangler is finally back and ready to take us into the dungeon. So let's pop this Guild Wars 2 dungeon cherry and finish this first impression the right way. Alright, well, it's a little dark in here, but not too bad. Sarcophaguses. Looks like this one has a burial and undead theme to it. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised with how many ghosts we've been killing. Oh, look at that. We've even got an NPC to guide us through our first dungeon. How considerate. First, we deal with a little bit of combat with some more dangerous than regular mobs, but nothing we can't handle. We find a key and, all right.
People think that people thought I set this up, and this is actually what happened on stream. People went back and linked the moment in the stream that this kept on happening. And my headcanon about this is I got a guy who kept messaging me and asking me a bunch of questions about that error message and what the fuck happened to me. And he found the moment in the stream, and suspiciously after this happened, there was a patch in Guild Wars 2, and I've never seen that error message again.
Here we go. Big door opening. This is the moment. This is when it gets interesting. What the hell? God. Okay, I'm sure that error message was just a one-time thing. We'll just walk back in there and...
Oh, come on. Actually experienced
fuck this game. How dare they take me on this emotional roller coaster just to kick me out of the first dungeon multiple times? These bastards made me care about my character's story. They went and reminded me of why I love MMORPGs in the first place. They made me have fun, god damn it. Now, as a viewer, you might not understand why I'm so mad, but I'm supposed to remain objective, soulless, and uncaring. And Guild Wars 2 just had to ruin that for me. I spit on you, Guild Wars 2. This game is terrible. IGN 0 out of 10. Don't play it. You know what? I'm logging out of this bullshit right now.
I remember this room. This room is right next to my bedroom. And my wife used to walk into this room every now and then because I did videos in the middle of the night because that's the only time I had to do anything. And she would get so fucking mad at me for being on the side of the house and waking up. This was before we had a kid. So now I can't do this at all because I'll wake my kid up. That's why I moved my office to the entire other side of the house. That's why I stream under a shitty tin roof in this now, because if I was in this room doing the same shit, holy fuck, the rage my wife would feel.
And I'm never coming back. I am just never touching this terrible, awful, unplayable mess ever again. What the hell is that?
Yep.
One eternity later.
This is when AI was still shitty and they couldn't do the filters properly.
What year is it?
Oh, God.
As always, big thank to all my subscribers, both old and new.
Yeah.
And a special thank to those members
this is-
of Big First Impression, who this time round
Insane. Yeah, that seemed to be the end of the video. This was
Yep.
such a phenomenal video. I enjoyed this one a lot. Thank you so much for the dude who
You will
recommended
be
this to me.
entertained by your wife
It is
occasionally strangling you on stream. Yes, but I'm trying my best to not get divorced, Ravenstein. That's what I'm trying to do here, is not get divorced and never see my kid again. It's really funny. I've thought about this. I was like, I was talking to my wife about this. I was like, you know that whole thing where like a woman's supposed to like divorce a guy and take half of everything he has. And I looked at it and was like, so how the fuck are you going to take half of nothing, huh?
actually fantastic. And yeah, I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you guys can give him a like and watch it for yourself. It's so damn good. Oh man, it kind of sucks that he stopped uploading. I would have checked more of his stuff.
Oh, don't worry. It's
but
coming
yeah,
back
I mean,
next
he
year.
was absolutely right about
Don't you
everything
fucking
he
worry.
said.
The Dune video curse has been lifted. It's back onto Guild Wars 2 and other MMOs.
Like, this game is so good, and right now I'm so happy that I get to experience it all over again. I spend all of my day just completely running through the zones and doing all the stuff, and it's just fun for me, man. Like, it's fun for me. I am saving the story, though, until I cover some more ground.
I understand. He's saving his virginity of the story for some time special. I get it.
But, wow, it's incredible. I enjoyed this video a ton.
Not bad. Not bad. Well done. I'm going to be interested to see what his opinions are in the future. I'm definitely going to be watching some of his videos off stream.